All right, so hey, here we are again. We're with one of our favorites, Mr. Shelton Johnson. Sir, how are we doing today?
Doing well. How you doing?
We'll do a quick background how we like bumped into each other by accident. That's a good place to start. So people are like, "How the heck did these two get hooked up?" So we met because we were at the food truck festival,
Right.
and your family came through,
Right.
and then I was starting to pitch what we do here at the Live Local, and your wife was like, "Yeah, he does all that stuff." And you were super quiet the whole time and didn't say anything. And then I got a couple words out of you. And then we followed back up and we sat down and had some breakfast. And you had all kinds of great ideas. And I learned all the things I needed to know that I wanted to do this podcast with you. Is that a pretty good summary?
I think it was a pretty good summary.
All right, cool. So I know what you do. Tell the audience, what is it we're doing here?
I'm a filmmaker. I'm a filmmaker, award-winning screenwriter and director, filmmaker, like I said. I own my own production company, Sammons Studios. And I am currently in the process. I'm in post-production for my second feature film, which I'm looking to have distributed in 2025, early 2025.
So it's your second. So what was your first one? So people can look it up and see it.
Sure. My first one has a lot of colorful language in it. Just so you know, it's called "Thankful for My Family." I wrote it when I was 25, so don't judge. But remember, the key word here is first. First time doing anything is not going to be as great as you think it is. Nice. But it's called "Thankful for My Family." No, really, it's called "Thankful for My Family," and it is funny. I will say it definitely delivers on the jokes. And I'm really proud of it because it still is a labor of love. Took a lot of work to get done. So.
You can find that on Netflix too. Is that correct?
No, that's not on Netflix.
So where can you find that one?
That one's on Amazon Prime.
Got it.
It's not Prime anymore. I'm sorry, they took it off of Prime. It's Amazon, Tubi, and Apple TV.
Okay, that sounds good. And then the new one you're doing right now will be able to be found on Netflix.
That's the goal.
We gotta
get it through distributors are already looking to see it. Distributors are the people, they're like the middlemen.
Yeah.
When you make the movie, you go to distributors, and then they reach out to the platforms, and the platforms buy it. Then you got a yes.
It's not easy, is it?
It's not.
Because you were even telling me you need special equipment and you need certified like lens. You need all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely. Netflix put out a list. They keep it. It's out. It's been out for a while now, and they always update it on the latest and greatest, whatever is quote unquote Netflix approved.
Yeah.
And they have a list for sound, cameras, lighting, the whole nine. And and so all of my knowing that was the goal was to get on major platforms, not just Netflix. I don't want to just put all my eggs in one basket. That would be nice, but but major platforms, you want that high level. You want that high quality. Yeah. And so when I started my own production company, that's really that's what I based my purchases on was, am I getting the quality so that the quality of my films can look at the same quality as what I already see on TV.
Now you didn't start just by saying, "Hey, I want to make movies."
No.
Nobody just starts. Some people do. That wasn't your path though.
No, that was not.
How did we get started? What was the catalyst?
Oh my gosh, man. When will this be played? Because I don't know.
I'm gonna try. It usually takes me a few days to get it rolled out, but
okay, all right. So here's what happened. It was 2011. I was I'm sorry, not even 2011. My goodness, I got engaged. I got married in 2011. Got engaged in 2010. So it was the Thanksgiving of 2010.
Okay.
My wife and I, at the time she was my girlfriend. Before we got engaged, we went down to a family gathering for Thanksgiving, and we had a great time. She met my family for the first time. Whatever, we rented out a beach house. It was nice. Whatever. What ended up happening was I came back and I was like, you know what? I want to write a book about that weekend. I wrote it, and she was like, you want to write a book about it? I said, yeah. Next thing you know, I wrote a chapter, and it set for like 3 years. Throughout those 3 years, we got married, we got engaged, we got married, we bought a home, had a child. And that notebook was just...
You crammed it all in 3 years?
Yeah,
you were just on a schedule, man. Like, let's do it. Got you.
So next thing you know, that notebook was sitting on the little thing on the mantle underneath the TV.
Yeah.
And she was cleaning the house and she was getting frustrated, you know. And, can you, like, fix... I had a bunch of other unfinished projects around the house, too.
Yeah.
Can you finish all these projects? And I should have hit the table, sorry for sound. But she said, can you finish all these projects, whatever? And I said, yeah, I'm gonna finish projects. And then she said, well, what about this notebook? This notebook been sitting here before we were even married. And I said, I'm gonna finish that book. Okay, all right, whatever, Shay. So I ended up finishing it, and I liked it so much, I decided to write more. I have really enjoyed it. I was very happy about that because at that point in my life, I was really at a point. I was 27, 20. I was 20. How old was I? I can't remember now. But anyway, but I was at a point in my life where it was just so much, so much of like, what am I doing here? I was doing everything, taking care of my family, working hard, paying my bills, doing all the adulting.
Yeah,
but I was like, man, it got to be something more to this.
Yeah,
So to find something that I enjoyed as much as I used to enjoy playing football and have that same passion about, I really went all in on it, and that's what inspired me to write the next 3 novels. So the first book ended up being a trilogy, and then I wrote a standalone novel, and then these books weren't selling.
They take time. People think, you're just gonna hop out there and just do bestsellers. That's not all how that works.
That's not how it works.
Not even close.
Right. So, books weren't selling, and I was, keep in mind now, all this time I'm reading more. I'm reading up on things. I'm learning, being self-taught. I didn't go to school for this. But I went to a writers' conference up in Minnesota. Met a guy, and he told me, he was like, "Look, man, well, gosh, I shouldn't even. I skipped over how I even turned it into a script. I wasn't even interested in writing a movie. I took a writing class over Bethesda. I think I told you about this.
Yeah.
I took a writing class called adapting your novel for the big screen, and I thought it was going to be them telling us what little things we could put in our novels that
make it pop. Yeah, visual.
Yeah, that movies might want to pick up on. Like, we could turn that into we could adapt it into a movie. No, it was somebody who just came in and teach us how to write screenplays. And I was sitting there bored as I don't know what, because I write novels. And during the lunch break, the guy said, "What's your story about?" I told him what the story was about, and he said, "Listen, do yourself a favor, turn it into a movie, a screenplay, or turn it into a movie." And I was like, "Whatever."
That's why I'm here.
Right? Is that right? And so man, and I'm so afraid of missing an opportunity. By the way, I didn't leave the class because I paid $50 for it.
You stayed the whole time?
I stayed the whole time.
Yes. I paid, I'm staying.
I'm staying, exactly.
I'm going to learn something, by God.
Something, right. So I wrote the script, and he said, so I was like, man, I don't want to miss an opportunity. So I wrote the script, reached out to the guy. He didn't answer. That's typical Hollywood producers.
So was the guy an actual producer? Like, he did some production? Cool.
He made some movies. I can't remember which movies now. It's been so long ago. But I couldn't get in contact with him. Went to a writers' conference up in Minnesota. Back to that. This was after I wrote the script. I went to a writers' conference in Minnesota, and this was for writing novels. And they had and most of the people who ever been to a conference before, you have these little side panels, that like different rooms you can go to that might focus on an area that you might be struggling in. So they had one for film, for screenwriting and adapting to the big screen. So I knew what that meant this time. So, So I went, right. Yeah. So I went in there, and they had a guy who was talking about, and this is what you need to do. You need to do this. And I'm like, man, I did all these things already. So after the class, I talked to him, and he said, "Listen, can you make it yourself?" And
make the movie from the book yourself.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if I get creative, I probably can make it myself. I didn't know the first thing about making a movie. He said, well. Now,
what year is this again? Because they didn't have the technologies they got now.
Right. This is probably.
Still like 10-ish years ago?
Yeah. We're probably looking at about maybe 7, 8 years.
Because now you can just have your phone and you can do it through iPhone, or back then that was way more intense.
Way more, yeah. But you probably looking about 7, 8 years ago.
Okay.
So I said, if I get creative, I can make it myself. So I did. I went and made it myself. Didn't know what to do with it. Reached out to him, and he said, "Listen, you need to find yourself a sales agent." He's 100% correct. But what he didn't tell me was that it's impossible to find
somebody
to find a sales agent.
All right, so that first movie was you said it was a trilogy.
The first book was a trilogy.
First book was a trilogy. So what was the movie based on? One of the books?
Based on the first book.
First book.
Yep.
So you still got 2 more books in you.
That if I wanted to adapt them, I could. Yes. But I mean, I don't know. It really, when it comes to this movie stuff, it really has to be, if the audience, you have to. I love all of my stories.
Yeah.
So I really want to make sure that I focus all my time, energy, and if I'm being a self independent filmmaker, my money on what the audience responds to. And with this project that I have coming up, I believe the audience is really going to focus in on this.
So you had the first movie and you got feedback. Is that correct? Like, you took some people and they got you some feedback, some reviews.
Right.
Is it mostly like Amazon, people leaving feedback, or like did you go out and like put shows on?
Oh no,
at the theater.
Distributors, comments on Amazon.
Okay.
People reaching out to me through social media where I promoted it, giving me feedback on it. The main things, the major critiques were, again, like I said, the language.
Yeah.
And then, but everybody raved about the quality of the production. They
Got it.
they also raved about how humorous it was, how funny. And they said that the acting was actually up to par. Nothing. Again, the only bad thing I got was the language, and a few directorial tips from people who are now friends of mine in the industry. Who went to film school and know a little more about directing.
That's cool. That's pretty helpful, I bet.
Absolutely. So, I sharpened my skills. I didn't know anything about a film festival when I first made this thing, but I sharpened my skills through film festivals.
Okay.
That's why I became an award-winning filmmaker and screenwriter. The first award I won was at the Atlanta Comedy Film Festival for Best Overall Screenwriter.
Wow.
Best Overall Screenplay. I'm sorry, as a writer, I didn't film anything there. I just won as the best writer for a script that I wrote. And then I went on to win down in New Orleans, New York, New Mexico for filmmaking. I went and made a film, and then I put it out there, and I won.
How many? There's hundreds of film festivals?
There's tons.
Everybody's got them. All right.
Yeah.
So did you you had to research? Just go on there and just Google it up.
Well, there's a website called Film Freeway.
Got it.
And there's some janky ones, some ones that I wouldn't even worth mentioning, but I don't submit to those.
Yeah,
I want to be at the ones where the good filmmakers are.
Yeah,
because I'm not I don't want to. It's like it's like a heavyweight fighting a bantamweight. Like, dude, that's unfair. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go in there with people who are legit good at what they do, and if I'm not up to par, then okay. And let me tell you something. It happened to me in New Orleans. I had 6 nominations in New Orleans, and I only walked away with 1 win.
Wow.
There was a dude there who was a great director, and he only lives 45 minutes away from me.
Oh, really? Yes, here in Maryland?
In Maryland.
Wow.
And I reached out to him, not in Calvert. He doesn't live in Calvert County. He lives up near D.C. But I reached out to him. I was like, look, man, when we get back to Maryland, we need to get in contact. We need to have lunch and blah, blah, blah. And then this is when I found out what being left on red meant, because he didn't respond at all. And at the festival, he was all nice and shaking my hand. Yeah, man. Yeah. I can show you some stuff. I can teach you some things.
And then nothing.
And so, but
funny.
It is what it is, man. It's some people like that, man. And then there's some people who only contact you when they want something. I mean, it's learning.
Trying to get ahead.
Yeah, learning the people of the business is harder than actually learning the craft itself. I mean,
so now you have the second movie coming out,
right?
And you have some really creative ideas for this. Like when we sat down and talked about it, you want to put it on and you want to have an experience to go with it, right? So can you talk to them a little? Because I've never heard the things you're talking about are creative. I've never heard of it. I've never seen that kind of thing. Can you explain to them what we have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to give too much detail.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't want to.
But I'm going to share what's going on.
Okay.
What we're doing is we are bringing the movie to the fans. Is what we're doing.
Cool.
I'm cutting out the middleman. I'm still going out to distributors. They're going to have a first look to get it out to the platforms. But what I'm not going to do is allow distributors to just hold the film for 6 months, which is the traditional way of doing things. When a person makes a film and it's done, is through post and everything, they go out to the distributor, and then the distributor will say, okay, I'll take it for 6 months and I'll shop it around to these different platforms. Like, no, I'm not going to do that, because then you leave the people who actually want to see the movie, the real general public, in lingo. And so what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to different venues and looking to put on shows that show the movie and getting locals to come out.
Almost like a live, but I mean, you're showing it. You show up like you would a play,
right?
But you put on a movie.
Absolutely.
So when you say distributors, I think of like Sony and Disney. Is that what you're talking about, or is it like smaller scale?
Sony and Disney are studios. Because they produce their own products.
Got it.
Distributors are companies that when you watching a movie and you see those logos that come in the beginning, but you've never heard of them before.
Those are distributors.
Those are distributors.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Because they're the people who because when you go, if you had a movie right now, something you wanted to say, like say you had a movie and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to call up Netflix and I'm going to put it up there. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Don't even waste your time.
Sounds good out loud, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can go to Netflix.com right now and fact check me. There is no number up there for you to call and say, hey, you have a movie? Come check
it out. Yeah, I got a movie for you, man.
Right. It doesn't work that way.
All right, so you're going to put it on, like, have people come and see it live. You'll have some of the actors in place. Everybody will be there. It's going to be kind of like a show.
Right.
And you're doing some around here, or what's the plan?
Absolutely. January 3rd will be the first showing. Okay. And I'm almost 100% certain that it will be here in Calvert County.
Okay.
I don't want to say the location yet because I haven't signed contract yet, but I have had discussions with them, and it's looking like everything's on the up and up. And I can guarantee you one thing: it will be January 3rd.
We just don't know where.
It will. There's a 99% chance it's going to be here in Calvert County.
Gotcha. And we're gonna do our anti-snow dance.
We don't
want it to snow. We don't want any bad weather. We want it to go well.
Yes, we don't want
to reverse snow. Yeah.
Yes, and I mean it's going to be packed.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
It's going to be. Once it is announced, I highly suggest anybody listening to this buy your tickets immediately.
Do you have that all set up yet, or no? The ticket buying and all that stuff, like a website, or is that on the website?
First I'm getting all the venues.
Okay.
Lined up. Then I'm going to the ticket stuff, and all the venues will be lined up by the end of August, and then the website for the tickets and whatnot to be available.
Okay.
And you'll be able to find all this on my social media.
That's what I was shifting.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was heading that direction. Like, so you can just follow them for now.
Yes.
So where can they find you then and follow it and see?
The main place would be Instagram. Instagram, I'm most active on Instagram, but I'm also on, and that's directed by SRJ. You can type that in, or you can type in Shelton R. Johnson. Either one pops up. YouTube, same thing. All of them: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. All 4 platforms.
I gotta hop on your YouTube. Does your YouTube also have like video clips and stuff of the things you made, or is
Absolutely.
it just okay?
Yep, it has the skits.
That's cool.
It has the skits, and yes,
but does it have your actual movie though?
It has the actual short films.
Okay.
It has the short. YouTube has the short films that I won the awards for, and then like I said, the feature film is on Tubi, Apple TV, and Amazon. Because
I've been mostly following the little skits you do, the little funny things.
Right.
So yeah, so if you're jumping on there and you're checking out his social media, he does daily, pretty much daily.
Yes.
Just stuff around the house, like things that are just going wrong with everybody. Like, so where do you come up with those ideas? Is it just stuff that you're like see it in real life and you just like stop and write it down real quick or something?
Yes, normally yes. And then sometimes I have some off the wall stuff, that just pops up in my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna give it a shot. Some skits are funnier than others. People seem to enjoy them though. Right now I'm averaging over 1,100 new followers a week.
That's pretty good. That's awesome.
Yeah, last week I got almost 1,600 followers.
So yeah, the favorite always is the son who's got his shirt on backwards, a little spinny beaner, like every single time he's the same character.
Yes.
Yeah, that's always pretty funny.
I'm actually recording one with him today when I get home.
Is it really?
But
do you actually put your son and stuff in him?
No.
Okay, just son, you keep it out.
My son wants to be in my skit so bad.
How old is he again?
He's 10.
10.
He wants to be in them so bad. So bad.
Give him a couple years. He can do his own.
He can do his. Yeah, he can. He definitely can. And he has that creative ability for sure.
That's funny.
But he just it's funny every time I'm recording. Do you need some help there? He was actually in one of the ones that went viral. He was in.
Oh, really?
But it was just his feet because he was walking around me. It's called "You Fell Out, Now Church Over," and that was that one has gone viral. That one's over 100,000. I think it's over 100,000 views.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's been shared over 10,000 times. It's
been going, man. Check that one out. That's awesome. Right. So, all right. So we'll circle all back. They got your social media. They know the movie's coming out. I keep calling it a play because it has that feel.
It's cool. Play. It's all right.
It's the movie coming out here soon in January. They know they can look up the old one and check it out and see your work. Are your books also available?
Yes, the books are on Amazon.
How many books do you have?
4.
4. Cool.
Yes. There's Thankful for My Family, Married with My Family, which is Merry. That's a Christmas comedy. So it's a Thanksgiving comedy, Christmas comedy, and then there's a New Year's comedy called New One with My Family. And then there's a standalone novel called Mr. Wilder. And all 3 of them on Amazon. If you put in Shelton R. Johnson on Amazon, you'll find all 4 of them.
Okay. But back in the day, let's take a whole step back. You didn't go to school for this. No. You didn't go to college. You didn't do any of this stuff. You just picked it up as you went.
I went to college, but not for this.
Not for this.
I graduated.
You played football.
I played football.
Yeah.
I had I was a kinesiology major with a business minor, and I did not go to film school though. I didn't go to.
But the business degree, did that help at all?
It helped with the business side of things, yes.
Yeah.
When people send me contracts and whatnot for some of the stuff that I've done, I think they think that, he's a creative type guy. He's not going to read the contract. And I'm like, actually, yeah, I do read contracts. Yeah. I do read contracts. And when actors see my contracts, they're like, oh wow, this is pretty extensive. I'm like, yeah, it is. Because I have actors who've been on other projects before, and they're like, your contracts are different. I'm like, well. Yeah.
So now they're different from state to state too. And you get people and actors from like DC, Virginia, and those areas, and those are all like different. New York, all those places bring you actors, and you gotta have different state to state contracts.
No.
Okay.
I make them all governed by Maryland law.
Got it.
Yeah. So once
they cross the border.
Well, no. Once they sign the contract and they officially become a part of the project, and we agree to compensation for their acting services rendered or whatever it be behind the camera or whatever. If there's any discrepancies, then if we were to go to a court of law, it would have to be in the state of Maryland because it would be governed by Maryland state laws as opposed to whatever state they may be coming from.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the place where the film is taking, where the production is taking place and where they be performing their services.
And then some of the folks we talked about it when we were sitting down previously, it's not as easy to find people to do sound and to do filming and do things.
Oh, yeah.
Can you explain, because I understand it, can you explain to the audience like why it's not easy for those groups to stick with it?
Because it's a thankless job is why. Actors work hard. I'm not going to discredit actors one bit. They do work hard. However, right now I finished wrapping my film in April 13th. I got it to the editors April 25th. They are not going to be done until final cut, like meaning everything done, let's go, we're ready to rock and roll, until December 20th.
So it takes from April to December to edit.
Well, I in between that time I have some test audiences that I might have to go back to them and ask them to tweak these things and change this.
Yeah, no, I believe you. I wasn't questioning that part. I figured that's.
But yeah, that's general. That's general how long it takes.
That's crazy.
And then when everybody sees it in the theater and everybody sees it on Netflix, Lord willing, like all these great things, right? Everybody's going to be clapping and raving for the actors, but nobody's going to be saying, "Hey,
that sound guy,
he killed it." Nobody will be saying that editor. She sure didn't make the cut at the right time.
Only you, you've been doing it. People that have done it for a while, they can see, that editor, whew.
Right? Yep.
But it doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen that often. The colorist, oh man, look how great the image looks on that. No, they don't get it. It's a thankless job, and then even more so to be behind the camera. The cinematographer for Joker, he got a lot of praise for doing Joker, because it really just stood out so much.
Yeah.
But I mean, just think how phenomenal of a job you have to do to where that's the first time in my.
I've ever heard of a cameraman.
Is that right?
Never.
Exactly.
You hear of cameramen at football games more than you do movies.
Movies,
because they're out there in the snow and stuff, and they point them out at the end of the games when there's some downtime.
Right.
But so they don't get any much credit, and then it's got to be a kind of a grind.
Well, yes. So there's a flip side to that too, though. They don't get a lot of credit, but they are always booked.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, when you find a good camera person, they are always booked. Huh. And they are businessmen because they deal with business all the time. And no matter what you're working on or whatnot, you got to remember that for them, it's just another project.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now let me say this. I don't want to say that about my crew because my crew doesn't. We really. I pat myself on the back a little bit on this, just a little bit, just a smidgen. I will say, I've really taken the time to build a family type of environment with my team.
Yeah.
We only get together once a year to film. We get together once a year to film something every year, whether it be a short film or whether it be these feature films like I did this year. And we've really done a great job of keeping our close knit relationship. And then of course, money's always
can be paid to stay alive.
Yeah, absolutely. But the way I like to do things is whenever I give them a call, listen, we're doing a part. This is literally how the call goes. Whenever I call them, hey, I wrote a script, we're shooting it. What dates are you available? It's not a question. They know they're going to shoot it. They give me the dates. All right, what's your price? This is what I need, Shelton. Okay, cool. And then we go ahead and we handle that. I'm a firm believer in handling all the business up front so that so that now that we got all the business done, now we can focus on having fun and being creative and because that's why when we get on set, it's always a great time because they already know the business is taken care of.
Yeah.
And they can just relax and do their thing. And I mean, they really do I have a great crew and I'm really fortunate to have found and put together such a great crew that really gets along and is great at what they do.
So when you show up, you're the Writer and director.
Writer, director, producer.
Producer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a camera guy or two, probably a couple.
Two.
Yeah.
Two camera guys.
And then a sound guy or two, probably a couple.
One sound guy.
And then you have editors.
Yes, I have two editors, and then I have a promotional team who puts together like my trailers and movie covers and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem that's too bad. I mean, that's pretty manageable.
Yeah. Then I have a lighting guy too on set and a makeup artist. Don't want to forget her. She's amazing. Eva Marie. She's amazing. And can I take this time to shout them out real quick?
Do it. Hey, man, is your time.
Because they, I say all these great things about them, and I don't want people to think that they're unbookable. They would love to get a phone call from you, because this is what they do. They always book. But
so we'll do cameraman first.
Cameraman DeAndre Fulton.
Okay.
He's my lead cinematographer. He is a beast on the camera. I would also say my second camera guy, Jared Harris, is amazing. He does photography as well as cinematography and videography. And he's amazing. I've seen him come up from high school all the way to adulthood.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I found him when he was like just a high school kid taking pictures on Solomon's Island. And I said, "What, are you taking a video?" He said, "No, I'm taking pictures." And then we got to talking, and I brought him on set when he was 18 years old.
Damn, cool.
Now he's a 20-something-year-old man doing his thing. Like I said, Eva Marie, I would put her makeup talent up against anybody's. I mean, awesome. And I mean that. I mean, special effects, the whole nine. I mean, she can do blood gushings. She can do sweat. She can do. Eva Marie's amazing. She's amazing. Again, all of them are. Steve is. That's my sound guy, and his name is Steve Sterling. Steve has been like, he's a JMU grad too back in the day, throwback. But he you
take a little stab, that's a JMU stab in there.
Yes,
yeah, that's
Steve,
good. Yeah,
Steve has been with me since my very, very first project.
That's cool.
He is amazing. He is somebody who, whenever I'm in doubt on set, because he has a ton of movie experience from way back when, he's done movies with Lou Ferrigno and some of the big name artists back in the 90s, Mel Gibson.
Really?
Yeah, he's Kevin Costner. But he was he said, Shelton, man, everything you do, he just always gives me great advice, gives me great encouragement whenever I feel like I'm at a loss. And he man, I'm telling you, that he's more than a sound guy. He's actually like a mentor and slash sound guy. Yeah, he's a great guy. And I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody.
Yeah, so do you cameraman, makeup lady, light? Did we do light guy?
Light guy. Let's just stick to those people.
Stick to the basics. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, good. So let's shift gears and say, all right, so we have some young people, for example, or we have some parents listening that their kids are starting to show a little bit of interest in stuff. Mm-hmm. What types of advice do they start with, like the social media and building community? Do they start with maybe like storyboarding, and do they start with reading? They start with business classes. Where would you say you need to start?
I say it's a balance.
Oh, okay.
The main thing though is getting started.
Yeah.
If you want to be, you said if they want to be a filmmaker.
Yeah, if
they want to be a filmmaker, you have your phone, write out a script, shoot it, cut it up. I mean, edit it, mm-hmm. and put it out there.
See what happens.
Right, put it out there, see what happens. And while you're doing that, continue to read. What I do is I give myself 30 minutes a day to reading. Watch YouTube videos, see how other people are doing things. You will naturally continue to grow and learn. But reading by filming continuously, by doing that process, write out a script, film it, edit it, put it out, you're going to continue to get better. However, you can increase the speed at which you learn you can increase the speed at which you get better the speed at which you improve by reading and by watching the YouTube videos of watching other people do it. It just, like, Stephen King says in his book on writing, that's a great book to read, by the way.
I was going to ask you which books. Yes. Go ahead.
He says great writers read, and I was one of the people who I was in denial. My first 2 novels, I was not a reader. Huh. And then I immediately saw the difference in the quality of my writing once I started reading other novels. Right. And once I started reading books on how to write and whatnot. It all comes together, and it takes time. Nothing happens overnight. Don't think, I read a book, I shot something, people didn't like it.
Figured out.
Exactly. Like I said, I made a whole movie with 46 actors, and you know, it was not a hit movie. So what, I'm supposed to just go in the corner and cry? It doesn't work that way. It's a first movie, and you have to learn. And then when I come out with the second one, people will see a major improvement, and then the third one, people will see a major improvement each time. You know, and that's just how the process works, and nobody's exempt from it. Whether you're talking social media, or whether you're talking movies, whether you're talking TV show, or whatever. You know, you gotta really just. You got to stay consistent, and you got to get started, number one, and you got to be consistent. You
got to get the reps.
Yes, and you got to continue to learn throughout. Continue to learn. Just because you. I love. There was a book I read, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes, and he said that, you know, it's not. He said so many people get so caught up on getting that degree and having that degree and saying, I have an education. He's like, people think I don't believe in education because I don't believe in college. He said that's not the case. I believe in education, but I don't believe you need a sheet of paper or a degree to say that you're educated.
Yeah.
You know, and I agree with him wholeheartedly on that. Like I said, I go to the library often.
Nice.
I go to the library often.
All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot. You need to pick 5 books.
For what?
5 favorite books. It can be about anything. I don't even care what it's about.
Man.
5.
Oh, my God.
You've already listed like 2 or 3. I don't know if you want to reuse those.
Okay.
It can be about anything, or like something pivotal moment or whatnot.
All right, I got you. Let me see. 5 favorite books.
I'll help you count.
That I think anybody should, anybody who's trying to do something.
No, just at all. Just like, hey, you're alive. You should read these books. Or if you think the how to write books were good, what inspired you.
Okay. If you're going to be a filmmaker, this is my top 5 favorite books.
Okay, we'll do that. Right, that's fine. That's perfect.
Right, okay. Number 1, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If you're going to be a director, you need to read that book.
That's a good one. I would have picked that. That's good.
Yes, I promise you don't know how to communicate until you've read that book.
Yep. He's a whole chapter on manners.
Yes.
A whole chapter on manners.
Yep.
And it's crazy.
Yep. Number 2, I would say, believe it or not, Screenwriting for Dummies. Screenwriting for Dummies. It was the first book on screenwriting that I ever bought. And I still reference it to this day.
Nice.
Despite having read almost 14 other books on screenwriting.
That's the one.
That book, I still go back to it to this day. They really address every single issue in that book.
It was funny. It's one of the top ChatGPT prompts right now at the moment is teach me XYZ, doesn't matter what it is, as if I was a 5th grader.
Yeah. That's
one of the top prompts right now.
Yeah.
Because people want to hear it, but they want to hear it simplified, which sounds like the test for dummies. Same, you know it, but you just want to hear it simplified so that way you can apply it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, 2. Okay.
That's
number
2.
3.
Number 3. I'm going to go with. Oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with. Boy. Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey.
Really? Absolutely. Why that one?
Because you got to know, if you're going to be an independent filmmaker, you got to know how to set a budget. And you got to know.
I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, you got to know what to invest in. And even Dave Ramsey said himself, as much as he talks about good growth stock mutual funds and all those other things, he even said himself the same thing that Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger said. Invest in what you know.
Exactly. If you can't explain it, don't buy it.
That's it. There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm not a stocks guy, but I can tell you about film all day long. So I do invest, obviously, as an independent filmmaker. I'm investing in my product. The fourth book, I would say the 5 C's of cinematography.
Okay. It's a good one.
To teach you the right camera angles and whatnot. This 5th one. Let's see. Man, this is tough. This is hard.
No one's gonna look back in 10 years and be like, he said that was his top 5. Have it one that isn't his film. Just a book you love.
Just a book I love. Oh, The Killing Floor by Lee Child. That's cool. Jack Reacher book. I'm a huge Jack Reacher, Lee Child fan.
Really?
Yeah, I found all the novels at a yard sale for $20, and I'm making my way through them right now. So that was easy. I was hoping that you would ask me that. That'd be good. Yes.
All right, good. So that's excellent. So we went over a lot of different topics today. We talked about your movies. We talked about your books. Mm-hmm. We talked about how kids get started, even adults, I guess too. I mean, that's not necessary for kids. shouldn't have assumed, but adults, if they want to get started, it's never too late. How you set up your crew, how you got people hired. Like, we covered a lot of topics here today. So I'm hoping the audience has a chance to come check you out now. Like, they can go on there and get one of your books, or maybe try to make it to one of your movies, or go on Amazon and watch one of your other movies. It was just like that. What would be the one call to action you'd want people listening to this to do after we had this talk?
I would love for you guys to just come follow me on Instagram,
Perfect.
or YouTube, or like I said, any other platform, but primarily Instagram. You can stay up to date on what I'm doing. You'll be entertained by what I'm doing. I guarantee you, I keep everything on my page clean, humorous. It's shareable. It's relatable content, and I believe that you'll really get a good feel for who I am as a person. Number one, and then number two, it'll keep you up to date on what I have going on.
Perfect.
So that locally, when it is time, the people who follow me on Instagram, they will have, on my platforms, they will have access immediately to, before they go out to the masses, they'll have access to the tickets.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you. We thank you for your time. I know your time is precious, and so I appreciate you here today. And hopefully I'll get in there early and get those tickets so that way I can get there on January 3rd, man. I'll have to get in there.
Listen, all you got to do is when you see me post it, just give me a call.
Maybe you'll need somebody to help park cars, or maybe you can put me to work. I can wear a vest, seeing people. Maybe I can get a little job too.
Nope, I want you to.
I like feeling productive.
I want you to sit there and enjoy it, man. That's all. I just want you to enjoy it, because you've really done I think you've done a great job with what you're doing for the county too.
It's fun.
This county has a lot of potential. Has a lot of potential, I should say.
A lot of hidden talent.
Yes.
There's a lot of hidden talent, and we do our best to try to bring it out and see if we can find people, because not everybody stands up top of the rooftops shouting how good they are at stuff.
Right. Exactly. So. Especially, it's just, but I just agree with everything you said. Yep. I agree. I'll leave it at that. Yes.
All right, man. We look forward to it. We look forward to seeing what other common stuff you come up with, and an amazing career, and we're excited to see it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.